Hi guys, Glader here, and today I have a video talking about where I've been since the last video. Last video was something PSO related, and it was really cool to make, and, well, I haven't published something since. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about where I've been, what I've been working on, and what it means for these projects. So, aside from being busy with work, and of course, unfortunately, classic WoW. Whenever anything WoW related happens, I tend to disappear because I really like WoW, and I play it too much. So, another thing I've been working on, something that I've had something you might call writer's block trying to write, is a C#9 source generator library to generate client-side relational databases for game data. In World of Warcraft, there's the concept of something called DBCs, which are... Oh, I'm gonna have to search a little bit better, which is called the database client. Database client files, which is a relational database of data in World of Warcraft. So if we want to take a look at maybe achievements, we can see, oh, we've got this table, and there's foreign key references, and so this is something that the client has, something that the server has, and this is a system that Blizzard and World of Warcraft uses to share data between the server and the client, and it's packaged in the client. It's not sent over the network at runtime, and they've got this really rich relational data, which you would assume you'd have in an RPG. And so to create something like that, I'm writing a library that generates source and handles all the, annoying, ugly things to take MySQL databases, which are represented in EF core models, which I'll pull up now. So this is a library I wrote that Phantasy Star Online server emulator uses. It is general RPG library. It provides database models, some network interfaces, stuff like that. And if we take a look at, we can see some models right here. On the server side, we've got a few tables. Let's take a look at one that might be client side. So you might have a simple definition of a race. You might have races in your game. So that's cool. You might want to package this with the client, but you might have more stuff like maybe item definitions, or maybe spell definitions, or technique definitions, or whatever you want to call them, which I haven't modeled yet here in this library, but will soon. And you have these things using Entity Framework Core. You have these things generating table models. So we take a look at, the class. Very simple table, nothing special. And you've got some things which are server-side, maybe like character definitions. These should exist only server-side. But you might have stuff that you want to package with the client. You might have something like character customization slot type. There's none here because this database is just pretty much empty, but you might want to package stuff like classes, their IDs, their names, their descriptions, stuff like that. And these tables can get quite large, as you can see in the case of World of Warcraft achievements. You might have optional foreign key references, nullable foreign keys that, is related to a zone. You might have something, you might have a previous achievement requirement. You might have a category. You have a reference to the icon that's shown in the achievement UI, stuff like that. So you've got these rather more complicated tables than I have currently, but you've got this stuff that you want to have on the server, but you also want to have on the client too. You want to have this information so you can actually do things on the client without having to send everything all over the network, because that would be horrible. And you want to have a rich relational API, and something, if you take a look at Gladem, which is a now canceled project, something that I had was I loaded these DBCs, but the API for interacting with them wasn't great. It didn't really support foreign keys in a first-class way. So you had to take the IDs and look them up in the other tables, or the DBCs, or whatever you want to call them. And I could show you some of that code, but I don't have it up right now. But the idea is, you want to use in this case, we want to take Entity Framework models, which have something called navigation properties, if you're familiar with them. Let me show you an example. We have, okay, we've got the concept of skills. Okay, some, very basic. But then you have characters knowing skills. So if you take a look at the list, a table that represents the skills that they know, they have foreign key references. They have foreign key references to the actual skill. And so it would be nice, this isn't something that would be on the client because this is server-side information, but you want to really be able to access this navigation property directly rather than having to take the ID and look up in another table manually. So the idea is with something called GGDBF, which stands for now at least, Gliders Game Database File Format, or Format, yeah. Who knows what it stands for? I don't even know yet. I'll come up with something better eventually. And you want to take these models that you see in this project, in this case, you want to take these EF Core models, which are in the database, and you want to generate serializable flat file databases that preserve the navigation properties, not only preserve the navigation properties, but allow you to access them directly without any queries. So you don't have to have a dependency on any framework. You don't have to have a dependency on like SQLite, which was an option I was considering. You can just take this, load the flat files, or alternatively rather, load over the network, which is great for in development and iteration, all this data and have it represented in memory, preserving, most importantly, the navigation properties. So that you have a rich API, and if you want to query, it's not really querying, but you can use link, which is fantastic. Link against collections is almost like, it feels almost like SQL, which is amazing. A fantastic feature of C#. So, but I've had writer's block writing this, so it hasn't progressed as far as it should. And this is really required to continue a unannounced project that I'm working on behind the scenes, and also for some of the stuff in Phantasy Star Online, for the static game data that you want to load on the game server, as well as, if I ever continue it, the client. So once I finish this, it's gonna produce a much higher quality version of interacting with game data than was in Glad MMO, which I'm really excited about, and it'll allow me to continue the secret project that I haven't announced yet, and the Phantasy Star Online Blueburst server emulator, which is really going to need to load this static data. So that's pretty much where I've been and what I've been doing. I sure hope this writer block goes away soon so I can continue writing this stuff, because I really need it to exist. It's really important that you can have a high quality relational database in SQL, but also at the same time when you deploy your servers or you deploy your clients, you can have this in a static format that doesn't have dependencies and that can be loaded instantly and be all available in memory without querying or any network calls. Because I think this, for static game data, is what World of Warcraft did, at least for the client. We know that for sure, and it's something that I want to do, and I think it's one of the best ways to do game data. Have a rich API, strongly typed C# API with navigation properties and foreign keys is like a first party supported thing, first class thing. And so I'm really excited about that, and this is going to be a pretty useful library, I think, once it's finished. So yeah, that was a lot of technical stuff. That's what I've been working on. I don't really have anything new to mention for Phantasy Star Online, but when I do, I'll make a video about it, trust me. If you actually watched this whole video, wow, I can't believe it. And if you did, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.